today.
So staying out here on Paul's porch, as we call it, for very long can make you feel a little bit reptilian. So Darde Long is here from the Chattanooga Zoo, and appropriately you brought a reptile with you. We're heating up pretty quickly out here, aren't we?
We are, and she's starting to get a little more active. This is Fiona, and she's a spiny-tailed monitor, one of the smallest monitors in the world from Australia, but she's just a really good ambassador animal, and so she said today, since it was going to be warm out here on the porch, she would tag along.
I got tickled when Darde first got here. You know, all of our guests are outside right now, so you came walking up the hill here, and she was chit-chatting with some guests. The Humane Society had been here. You're talking with Taylor, and she had the monitor and a carrier bag, and then I look over and she's just holding it like you would a baby. He does not care, or she does not care.
No, Fiona's just really laid back. Makes her a great animal, especially for, you know, when we're using her in encounters for camps and things like that. You know, those memories of things we've always had.
Yes. Yeah, talk about that a little bit, Darde. I mean, y'all must have been so impacted these last months.
You know, no more than anyone else, though. I think that's the only saving grace in all of this, is that we are literally all in this together. But, you know, being closed was terrifying. We don't have really big reserves. The city did help us some, but, you know, they've got a lot of other things they were invested in. And so sitting there realizing there was no income, the parking lot was empty during a time when it should have been filled with school buses and kids. And it was just this, I think it was this utter depression that settled in. But, you know, we're back. We're open. Now, you do have to have a mask. And you see I've got one around my neck, because you do have to wear a mask to come into the zoo to prove that you have it, because we're a business. Once you're inside, you can remove it if you can socially distance. So, you know, at the zoo, you can spread out, you can step off the walkway. There are a lot of ways to do it, so you don't have to wear it, you know, outside, but inside you do.
Well, you know, I think I'll throw my 2 cents worth in, but I'm sure that's a welcome relief for you, because these are hot, oppressive days. You want people coming to enjoy the animals and to share in the zoo experience. And how could they possibly if they were having to wear the mask while walking through?
You know, absolutely. And so we're being very careful. We keep an eye on things. If we need to remind someone, we do. But I think it's really important to think about, because even myself, when I'm outside, because our staff does wear masks when we're outside, our landscaping workers, some of our animal care don't have to wear it if they're in an exhibit, if they're away from people. But when you're walking through the zoo, if you're a staff member, at all times you have to have it. And if you talk for very long with one of those things on, it just really is tough if it's 97 degrees outside.
Talk a little bit about the kindness factor in all of this, because you are seeing groups of people come back in, and for a lot of us, we are still getting used to it. Even here at work, it's just human nature that you tend to forget, and you gravitate towards somebody, and then you have to remember to scoot back. If you see that happening at the zoo, are you finding that the clients, the people coming in, the patrons, are just kind of stepping away or gently asking someone to give them some space?
I haven't personally witnessed anyone having to ask, but for the most part, because we do have groups, typically you bring your children, or you come with a friend, and those folks seem to be kind of doing their own social distancing without us helping. We did remind some folks when the giraffe barn, you know, is open, and it is open now, but when it was first open, we have to say, okay, just step back just a little bit, you know, because again, no one is really doing this on purpose for the most part. Most people really do want to do their best to comply, and I think it's important to just remember, no one intends to put anyone else at risk, at least not if you've chosen to come to the zoo and visit the zoo, you know.
You talked about the fear factor. I think anybody watching can relate to that just within their own homes, right? If you were economically impacted by this, you worry about those you love and who you support. I'm sure your primary concern was for the animals, because you want to make sure the money is there to continue to care for them. A minute left.
Oh yeah, you know, we did a budget that was what we called our bare bones budget, that said it will take this much money for us to have animals cared for, to buy the food, and to provide the veterinary care. And that was the bare bones budget, and we pretty much survived on that for a part of March, all of April, and just into May. We opened officially to the public on May 9th. So for some, it was a lot longer, but for us, you know, we were able to get open. And again, we had one-way routes, we did everything. But isn't it amazing how we've all had to adapt to changes?
And we've done it pretty well. 30 seconds left. I know we're on the cusp of school starting. Many of you will end up having your kids at home doing the virtual learning this year. Think about getting a Zoo membership. It's a great way to enrich the whole family. No matter the ages, they can take advantage of the fun. Darde,
that's right. Check out Homeschool. You know, we are still doing that. We can do that safely. We're following all the rules. But come out to the zoo. Come early in the morning. We're all in a better mood, including those monkeys.
There's your website and the phone number, as always. And thank you for bringing the monitor.
At Linderman Sit and Sleep Gallery, you'll always